Hi, my name is Deborah. I want to talk a little bit today about the journey I've taken with Usui Reiki and how it's changed my life and brought me so much healing and peace, but also a great love and a wonderful vocation to help others. Usui Reiki came to me when I was young, and I didn't quite know what it was. I did know it was something special, though, but I didn't use it as much as I could have. But Reiki, Usui Reiki, always felt sacred to me, and it always gave me peace and direction in my life. And at the time, I was a single mom with 3 kids, and I lived on the Oregon coast. I was selling real estate, and I was busy. Real estate, Reiki, real estate was my career for a while, quite a while actually. But Reiki was part of that lifestyle, and it really came to me at a time when I needed to have that stability to manage the ups and downs of career path and sometimes rocky career path, but also raising teenage girls. And what I've discovered is that the evolution of Usui Reiki through the practice itself brings you even more clarity and stability and a clearer understanding and trust in the effectiveness of what Reiki can do. And since I started back in the mid-1990s, I had trained first, second, and third levels with the same Reiki master in Madame Takata's style, with the attunements being done over a period of a couple days. And different levels of attunement happening in the process. It was quite interesting. And that's the way I taught for a while. But as life changed, my interest in Reiki grew as real estate just started to fall apart, and my path just showed me a new, opportunity to become more effective with using Reiki and helping others, but also to create a business model. And so I took a trip. I was just called to go to Glastonbury, England, to learn from William Lee Rand, and he had established an international training school for Reiki called the International Center for Reiki Training. And I saw a picture of Stonehenge with the word Reiki across it in his magazine, and I immediately felt drawn to go there. And I'm so glad I did. William's an excellent teacher, and he was at that time teaching in a tradition that was very Usui based, and he also added in some advanced Reiki training for the master course that I took. But mostly I wanted to learn how to be an effective teacher. So I went to Glastonbury and by myself on this journey, and I stayed in an old retreat house called the Abbey Retreat Center, and it was built in 1850. And behind it were the ruins of a cathedral from the 13th century. There was a plaque dedicated to King Arthur and his lady Guinevere, and there was a Chalice Well Gardens, which is a place that for hundreds of years has been a place to go for healing from the waters that they say are come through the chalice of the Christ, where Jesus' uncle Joseph of Arimathea took a pilgrimage to the site there near Tor Hill and put his staff in the ground, and a thorn tree blossomed from the staff that he carried. And so there's a lot of magic there and a lot of mystery. And the mystic arts are just still thriving in that environment of Glastonbury. Tory Hill had a processional route with 2 ancient trees, oak trees, and they were over 2,000-year-old oaks. One was named Gog, the other's name was Magog, and they were a male and female tree. Gog looked like it had died because some kids had burnt a fire in his trunk. But Magog was still lively and vibrant, the female tree, and full of leaves, green leaves, and she was just really big and majestic and beautiful. And I took my Reiki and put my symbols in my hands and went up to Magog and put my forehead on Magog's trunk and my hands on his trunk, and I asked him, "Are you still there?" And this tree looked dead. Sadly, he had no green leaves, but I could feel his presence there, faintly, but there. Next, I went to Magog, and I did the same thing. I placed symbols in my hands, and I put my forehead on her trunk, and my hands on her trunk, and I asked her, "Are you there?" And she gave me a warm hug. I was surprised by this tree. This old tree felt like a familiar friend to me. And she warmly hugged me with love, and I could feel her essence and her love. And it was so sweet, and it felt so familiar and ancient. And then I heard her say telepathically, "Step back and look at your feet. There's a gift for you there." So I stepped back, and this was sitting at my feet, this piece of her bark. And it has this lovely artistic grace to it, and I just felt so blessed to pick it up and say, "Oh, a gift for me, how beautiful, from this tree." So I was telling the students there, they were all standing watching me, and William was too. And I said, "Look at this, the tree gave me this piece of her bark." And they were saying, "Oh, you'll never get that through customs." But William said, "Mail it to yourself." So I did. When I got home, there it was on the front porch. But it was a really remarkable trip, and the attunement for the master training took place in the center of Stonehenge. Those standing stones are over 5,000 years old. They have an essence of energy that feels very ancient, but also feels very wise and connected to the earth, to Mother Earth, and to Mother Earth wisdom. I felt the attunement awaken in me, some wisdom that I didn't know existed there. Something felt like old past life awarenesses. This started to bubble up and become clearer, more clearly defined in my conscious state. But I also felt a calling and a desire to serve humanity and to really release the suffering that people just struggle with in their lives. And I recognize that that's what Reiki is an opportunity for release of suffering of all kinds. And so much of it is about our hearts. You know, we're so wounded in our hearts. And the heart healing is where the wisdom lives. The wisdom to know how to interact with others in the loving and meaningful ways. The wisdom of the heart helps us to recognize the intelligence of our body system and how it knows how to heal itself. And when given opportunity with good food and good relationships and good thoughts, and that we connect more with the spirit of who we are in a healthy, wholesome way that tells us we're part of nature, we're part of the animals and trees and the planet herself, and that we belong here. And then when we nurture that in ourselves, that relationship, we find healing takes place on so many levels. The beauty of Reiki is that it's evolving too. like since I took that trip to Glastonbury in 2010, it's been it's been 11 years. And I feel the blessings just increasing more and more. And as I stay in touch with William Rand at the International Center for Reiki Training, I've become a professional member there, and I teach from that school, their tradition. I found that his evolution of Reiki has evolved to holy fire. And this new expression is just so exciting because it helps us to connect very clearly and potently and perfectly and in the purest essence of the source of love, unconditional love, that we are able to share a much more refined energy and do it from a place of direct communication rather than of channeling through the practitioner and teacher. The holy fire comes to people directly. It's so beautiful. And the methods that are taught with it are so deeply healing and permanently transformative to a brighter experience of life, more joyful. We feel the essence of the divine beings of the higher heavens coming through in this new expression. And holy fire comes to us in a way that doesn't impose its will, but it honors our free will, which is a difference in a lot of people's way of expressing through metaphysics. Is this difference that it comes from a higher level of honoring the human spirit, the human free will, the human choice. And we're so excited to teach it because we can teach it online. And the potency of the effect of these trainings and these ignitions and placements of energy and the symbols, activations, go directly to the person wherever they are. We've taught people in New York and New Orleans, California, Connecticut. It's exciting. It's such a beautiful transformation of the Usui traditional energies, and we're so honored to be part of that. We send you this blessing of holy fire, and I'm grateful that you're listening to my talk. Like I say, holy fire has gifted me with a great love. Peter and I reconnected after 40 years of knowing each other, and suddenly we were in love. This powerful love just came through, and we just have this wonderful life together, and we're so happy. We get to teach this meaningful practice that's helped Peter tremendously in the Parkinson's disorder that he exhibited when I first reconnected with him. And he's come through so much with the help of holy fire and Reiki that his symptoms are almost non-existent. I mean, when they do pop up, they're for short periods of time, and he manages it, with his symbols and his energy work, and he just is healed so much. It continues to improve his condition. So they call it an incurable progressive disease, but this is not so. Not for my husband. And each person being unique, we can't guarantee anything, but we can guarantee that your suffering will be minimized. So we encourage you, in whatever your situation is, to seek out Reiki practitioners that express through the holy fire. The sessions are effective online and from a distance, and the teaching is too. Much love to you. Thanks for listening and being a part of my life, and I look forward to meeting you maybe one day. Bye for now.